Manchester United have been linked with a move for Mateus Mane from Wolves. In this video, we'll be talking about all the news that's come out. I have an interesting conversation about him as well and give you some thoughts on Mateus Mane potentially coming in. So let's get into the news which broke. So Mateus Mane has been linked with a move to Manchester United in the last kind of 24 hours or so it has been. And I'll go through the news now. This is what is being said on Mateus Mane. Manchester United have had initial talks with the agent of 18-year-old forward Mateus Mane. He is internally rated highly at Manchester United. He will make a decision on whether he stays and leaves or leaves at the end of the season. He is rated highly at Manchester United. So, listen, he's one of those players for Wolves who actually has done a very, very good job. I think he is a very, very talented player. He's someone who has a lot of quality. As I said, he's someone who can score a goal, create chances, and I think he's someone at 18 years of age who has done a very good job in that Wolves team. He's broken in at such a young age. He still has a few years left on his contract, but he definitely is a player that I'd look at and think, wow, he would fit that United team. He's a link that I like. I think he's someone who can operate in a number of positions. I believe he was at he does have some connections with Manchester United or has a lot of friends at the club. I think he's someone who is a unique profile, and United are definitely going to look at younger players to bring in. We've seen that sort of model under Ineos to some of the young players that we have brought in. You look at the likes of Chido Obi, Aiden Heaven, Sekou Kone, Christian Orozco. I think someone was mentioned. I don't know if he's actually signed yet. Diego Leon. So United are interested in bringing in young players. Now, what I would say about Mateus Mane is the price. I think it's probably going to be a high price. Wolves are probably going to demand a lot of money for him, probably north of, I would say, 30-40 million. He's someone who is established. He's starting Premier League games. I will watch him tonight against Arsenal if he does play. He's got 3 goal contributions. He does play a lot of 90 minutes, which when I was looking at his sort of stats this season, it was a bit of a surprise because he is still relatively young. Right now, he plays in a midfield 3 for Wolves. And I think he definitely is an option to look at. I think the quality that he has is no denying that he can turn into a top talent. I think if he is to come into Manchester United, he's not that sort of player who would go straight into the first team. Go into the under-21s. He's someone who'd want to be straight into that first team. Kind of what happened. I know Aiden Heaven had games under-21s, but he was main in the first team, and that's the ambition he was signed for. I think this is United trying to get in early in that deal and trying to look at any positives, any potential in it. I think he definitely is a young forward. I think we are in need in forwards, depending on if Rashford's probably going to leave, Sancho's going to leave. And again, you look at sort of the market's in a bit of a weird position because again we just don't know how much players are going to go for, and I think that's definitely a conversation to have. We know he's rated at Manchester United. He's a top prospect at Wolves. And for me, I wouldn't mind him at the club. I mean, there are worse players that you can have at the football club, and I think I really do like the look of Mateus Mane. The quality that he has, the potential is something that's important as well. So yeah, I think he's definitely someone to look at. I'll go through. Listen, I think there's a lot of positives. He's young, he's up and coming, he's got Premier League experience. He can play in a multitude of positions. He's a young player. But yeah, I think Ineos are expected to make a decision over the new manager. Mateus Mane is someone who Manchester United have an interest in, and he's highly rated internally. I mean, you look at some of the players that United have missed out on, young players. I remember Julian Alvarez when he was at was it River Plate? He was linked with a move to Manchester United. Man City got him, and you look at what he went on to do there. Caicedo was someone that Manchester United wanted to get for £3 million, I think it was, and then look what happened there. So, listen, I think it's definitely someone to take a punt on and a risk on. I think he's at an age where if it doesn't work out, you could probably sell him for a decent bit of profit. And I think for me, as I said, are we in desperate need of an attacker? No, but I think someone like him who can develop next 5 years and still be a top player, learn from some of the top players that we have, Cunha, Mbeumo, Ahmad, Sesko, hopefully Bruno's still here. I think that'd be good for his development. Again, he'd get a good feel of what it's like to play for Manchester United. Obviously, what would the negatives be? He is still young, he's still a raw talent, he's still not developed yet. I think at this stage in your career, you need someone, a top level manager who's going to develop you. I think Carrick is that guy, but whether Carrick's here long term is the big conversation. I think another thing to say about Mane is he is still kind of very early on in his career, but I think the positives are certainly there, and I think the quality that we've seen, and I've seen him a few times, he is a very good player, and again, he's someone I would like at the club. Not a surprise, talks are being held. He certainly is an interesting one. As I said, he's 18 years of age. Um, but again, you look at the amount of young players these days. Yamal's 18. I think Jeremy Monga made his debut at 15. Players like Wanyeri. There's a lot of young players coming through, and I think United's attack is in a decent position right now. We have enough players, I'd say, but adding someone like Mane, potentially if, I don't know, someone leaves in the next few years, you have that next coming talent already. And the academy at United already is in a good position. We have players like Chide Obi, Mantanto, the likes of JJ Gabriel. There's a lot of good players in that academy, but adding someone like Mane to that would definitely be a good option and an interesting option to have. But let me know your thoughts on Mateus Mane. Would you want him in the club, and would you want him to join? The news is saying that talks are being held over a potential move. United rate him internally, and it's definitely sort of a recruitment decision that's been made. And you can see the sort of way in which United are trying to go for. We're not, obviously, we've signed sort of proven players in Mbeumo, Cunha, players who can come in straight into the team, but we also want to look at young players who can go on next 5-10 years and come top level players like at United for cheaper options. And I don't think that's something that we did under the previous regime, and hopefully Ineos can do that. But let me know your thoughts.